Hey there, welcome to day 27 of our 7th Get Up and Go Challenge, our free 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge. This is our 7th one. It's kind of the year anniversary. We did the first one last April of 2020, just as a way to say, what the heck are we going to do now? What do we do now that the world is in this massive shutdown, this massive change? How do we get up and go? How do we keep going? How do we keep moving forward with all the craziness that's going on around us? And the answer to that is the SOAP framework. We figure out what's best for us to do in any given situation, and we install this framework into our subconscious so it guarantees we're always doing the best thing for us at any given time, any given moment. So today we're going to talk about the 8th area of our now 9 areas and aspects of our life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence. We talked about confidence yesterday. We're going to talk about communication today, and tomorrow we will hit our 9th area, contribution. Now, I added communication and confidence this time through the Get Up and Go Challenge. Never added those before, mainly because those are two foundational things that I'm finding come up time and time again with people as we're discussing the different areas and aspects of our life. It's about, to improve and change any area and aspect of our life requires that we look at what we're doing now. We look at our comfort zone. What we're doing now is always in our comfort zone. And change, any challenge or change that comes along, inevitably stretches or pushes us or catapults us absolutely positively out of our comfort zone. And we have to know what's best for us when we find ourselves in that situation. Well, our communication skills, our confidence, our emotional intelligence, our spiritual beliefs and faith, our physical well-being, how much energy we actually have, how we are taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, it all ties together and creates our life, our experience here on the planet. So today I want to talk about communication SOAP, our SOAP framework with respect to communication. Now, communication is a huge area, right? It's anything from listening, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. It's from talking, speaking, the languages we speak, the tone of voice, our nonverbals, neuro-linguistic programming, stories, the meaning of words. I do a daily video about an idiom. An idiom is an expression that's, the words clumped together mean something different than the words if you were to find the meaning of those words individually. That's the definition of an idiom. And I think I've done well over 800 of them, 800 days in a row of them, where I share an expression, what it means, where it came from, the history of it, and how you might use it in your business and your life. I use it on a business challenge page, or not a challenge page, just a business page that I do in a business group. And it's explaining to people what an expression or means that they might not otherwise know, but other people understand it and are using it, and how we understand the same words is different. Beautiful to me is different than beautiful to you, or probably a whole lot of other people. Now, we might all agree on some things that are commonly beautiful, but other things that people find beautiful, we just shake our head at. I mean, I think of art and going to art galleries and things, and there'll be different art forms and pieces of art, and people will just be umming and ahhing over them and just aghast at how gorgeous they are. And I'll just walk by and I'll be like, yeah, colorful, nice. You know what? We all have different definitions to what is beautiful to us. We all have different definitions of every word in the language that we speak, that we're native to. And so that makes communication a challenge, because when I say, oh, have an awesome day, depending on who I say it to, when I say it, how I say it, the tone of voice, the situation, the surrounding, what's going on in that person's life that I have no idea about. Maybe their dad just died, and I'm like, have an awesome day. And they're like, are you freaking kidding me? My dad just died. Like, I should know that, right? So communication is this huge area that we could all learn more about and study more about. Very little of our education, at least my education, was spent on communication, either listening, well, we all took in school some writing, some English, we took some, usually we took some kind of a speech class, some of us took foreign language, but all of that, none of that really prepared us for communicating with other human beings. So we're going to pick an area of our communication today, and we're going to apply the SOAP framework to it. Okay, so for me, for example, I want to be a better listener. And I've always wanted to be a better listener. I am very direct in my speech and my approach to everything. And sometimes that means I'm short with other people and I don't spend a lot of time active listening. Our tool today is active listening because there's a difference between passive listening and active listening. I can be on my walk in nature today and I can be listening to an audiobook, or I can be listening to something on my phone. And am I active listening to that? Probably not. I'm just feeding it to my brain, mostly to my subconscious, because I'm paying attention to where I'm walking. Otherwise I might trip in a hole and sprain my ankle. Been there, done that. Not very fun. So that's passive listening. I'm just listening while I'm doing something else. Active listening is I am giving you, the speaker, my 100% undivided attention. Are there still distractions? Are there still lots of thoughts and things going on in my mind? Yes, but I'm consciously making an effort to listen to what you're saying for understanding. I'm watching your body language. I'm watching your nonverbals. I'm paying attention to your tone of voice. I'm paying attention to, and I'm trying to figure out what is the intent and the real message behind the words that you're saying and how you're saying it. That's active listening. So my current situation is I am not an awesome active listener. I am almost always multitasking and doing 3 or 4 or 5 things at the same time. Comes from being a mom. I swear that if moms couldn't multitask, these species would cease to exist. But I'm not a mom anymore. I'm a grandma, but I'm not a mom anymore. So I can't use that as my excuse anymore for not active listening. So currently, not a great active listener unless I'm in a one-on-one coaching situation or a consulting situation and I'm actively listening and watching and paying attention and taking notes and looking for the underlying messages and currents, because people always tell us and show us exactly what we need to see and hear, but we don't always catch it. Because a lot of times we're filtering out what we don't want to see, what we don't want to hear, what we don't want to listen to. We all have prejudice filters that filter out the things that we will and will not even see, hear, taste, smell, etc. Our senses can actually be numb to things we don't want to see based on our thoughts and feelings and beliefs. So I'm not a good active listener. I want to be a much better active listener. And mostly in, not in business relationships, more so in my personal relationships. More calm and more relaxed and more going with the flow of conversations with my family. My kids tell me all the time that Mom, I know you're not listening. And they're usually right. And then I zone back in and I listen. So I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10 active listener, I'm about a 5. And I want to be an 8 or a 9. I want to be a very good, present, active listener. So that's our S. That's our story. That's my situation. That's what I'm telling myself about it. And I could make all kinds of excuses and stories up, but I'm not gonna, because that doesn't help me get from where I am to where I want to be. So what helps me get from where I am to where I want to be? Considering options. The O in our SOAP framework is all about options and possibilities. So I'm going to brainstorm a bunch of possible things that I could do to become a more active listener. I could take a class. I could have a coach, which I do. I could do some online courses. I could do some challenges that deal with communication skills and listening. I could go to a retreat. I could go to a seminar. I could find a communications guru that would work with me one-on-one and fix me once and for all. Not that that's possible. So I could do all kinds of things. So I want to pick one thing that I can do for the A, action, in our SOAP framework. What's one thing I can do right now to be a better listener, to be a more active listener? What's going to help to get me moving in the direction of doing that right now? And I just tell my brain, be on the lookout for anything that will help me be a better listener. And yesterday, I actually found an example of that, and a better communicator. And Dan Locke was on a YouTube video after I got done processing my videos yesterday, and it popped onto Dan Locke, and you may or may not know who he is. I would say he's a personal development business coach. And he was talking about the 27 words to never say if you want to get people to buy your product or do business with you. And what was interesting is I think I use every single one of them. Let me grab that because I thought it was super interesting. And I'm not going to explain the reasoning behind all of them. You may or may not have heard it. If it's something you would like me to do, explain why these aren't great things to say. And then my communications coach actually gave us, I think, 21 and then 10 more words to never say, and then words to say that make people buy anything. So if you'd like me to do a session on something like that, just let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, the ones he said were, to be honest with you, trust me, sorry to bother you, just following up, by, the word by, contract, I haven't heard back from you, and individual, and the final one was, we are better than so-and-so, or fill in the blank. We are better than, I am better, we are better than this person or that person or the competition. So I could explain those to you, but I found that that was probably, I think it was maybe a 10-15 minute video that was super powerful for me, because my brain is now, since I'm using the SOAP framework and I've added communication and confidence to my radar of things to pay attention to, when something shows up that I should listen to or see, I see that now. Before, if I would have looked for that last year, I could have seen that in my face in ads and 20 times or 100 times, and I would not even have noticed that video or that article or that book or whatever, because it wasn't on my radar as something that it was important to me, that I wanted to pay attention to. But now it is, so I listen to that. So today I will find something about active listening that really helps me practice active listening on a regular basis, and I will make that part of my routine. So for the P, the progress in our SOAP framework, how will I know if I'm making progress toward being a better active listener? Number one, my kids will stop saying, Mom, are you paying attention to me? You're not listening, I'm going to go. I hate that, because then I know they busted me and I really wasn't listening, and they were saying something that was important to them, and that disrespects them, and I don't ever want to do that, especially with my kids and people I love and care about. So for progress, I will add commit time daily for the next 7 days at least to, and I'm going to say, 15, 20 minutes a day, and maybe I break it into little pieces depending on the conversations and the people I'm interacting with. I'm going to be traveling soon, so there's going to be a lot of opportunities for me to practice active listening every single day. So for the next 7 days, I will spend at least 15 to 20 minutes a day actively listening, being present, paying attention, focusing on the person, their nonverbal, their verbal, their tone, their intent. I will repeat back to them what they say or what I've heard them say to verify that what they're saying is what I'm actually hearing, because that's a big mismatch sometimes. But that's one of the ways I could quickly and easily use the SOAP framework to improve my personal communication skills. So today your challenge is to think of an area or aspect of your life that has to do with communication that you would like to see different than it is today. Maybe, especially so much time we've spent with the people that are close to us, and we tend to be hardest on the people we love the most. At least that's been the experience in my life, that we expect more of the people that are closest to us, and we're also the shortest and the least understanding with them, because we expect them to just read our minds and know us. So I'm trying to not be that way with my kids, and going forward in my life, and especially with my granddaughters. So do this today. Pick an area or aspect of your life that has to do with communication and run it through the SOAP framework. What's your story? What's your current situation? What do you want it to be? Maybe it's communicating with your significant other. Maybe it is communicating with your kids, like me. Like I could have easily gone through the SOAP framework for communicating with my daughter, communicating with my son, communicating with my son-in-law, communicating with my granddaughter, who's going to be 6 soon, communicate in a month, be communicating with my brand new baby granddaughter. Now, how I communicate with my brand new 2-month-old grandbaby daughter is different than how I communicate with my 5+-year-old granddaughter, right? Those require different sets of skills and active listening. So do this today. Run something with respect to communication through the SOAP framework, and then let me know in the comments below, how did it work for you? Or did you get hung up on anything? Or are you struggling with something? Is there one aspect of the framework that gives you more difficulty and you'd like to see more tools in that? Share in the comments below, because if you don't let me know, I don't know, and I don't know how to add more value and help you more. That's it. Have an awesome day. I'm going to go nurse my stuffy nose some more. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. We're going to talk about, I already let the cat out of the bag, we're going to talk about our contribution soap, because all of us are here to live our lives. We also want to make a difference. We also want to contribute something to the world bigger and bolder than what we are just as a human being. All right, have an awesome day. Catch you tomorrow. Bye. Get up. Go do this. It's really fun.